Hello, and welcome back to Practical AutoCAD and Inventor. If you've ever built an assembly in Autodesk Inventor and wished you could make it move the way it's supposed to, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll walk through how to drive assembly constraints and bring your designs to life, whether it's testing motion, checking clearances, or simulating real-world behavior. By the end, you'll know how to control and animate your constraints so that you can better understand how your parts interact before anything gets manufactured. Let's get started. If we consider this assembly that I have here of the Trammel of Archimedes, it's a toy that basically shows how rotational motion can be translated into linear motion. If I come up here, for example, and grab this red knob, I can turn the arm, and as I turn the arm in what ends up being an ellipse, then the two sliders are end up having linear motion associated with them. If I continue to come around in a circle here, you'll see how I come in and put these in, then it continues to go in a circle. But it can be a little bit jerky and kind of hard to navigate and make it look smooth. And if my goal is to have a nice smooth video showing how this works that I can display on maybe a sales presentation or on the internet or something like that, I want to record something that's going to look nice and be presentable. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to add a constraint. Now at this point, all of my parts in here are mostly constrained, but not fully constrained. As you can see, I can slide these two sliders back and forth, okay, back and forth this way. There are some flush constraints, maybe holding this arm flush with the top of the slider, and there's insert constraints with the screws and the washers and those kinds of things. But it's not completely constrained so that I can still come in here and move it. You can actually come in and you can drive most constraints. If I come in here, for example, and I say I want to, if I just right click on any one of these right here, you'll notice that there's an option on here to drive this constraint. But if I drive this flush constraint, it's not going to give me the output that I want. So you have to be kind of strategic about it. And again, what I'm doing is I'm converting rotational motion into linear motion. So I'm going to say I want to drive this arm in a rotation of 360 degrees, which means I need to use an angular constraint. So I'm going to come up here to the constrain tool, and I'm going to add an angular constraint. And the actual angular constraint that I want is a directed angle. So I'm going to put a directed angle between this surface in on the arm and this surface right here in the block itself. And it wants it to be 0 degrees, but I'm going to change it to just 45 degrees so that it looks a little bit more natural in the original presentation, and I'll choose OK. So now at this point, this is actually completely constrained. I could come in here and try to drag the arm in a circle, but notice I get the little no sign on my badge there saying it's completely constrained. I can't move it. But now that it's completely constrained, I can actually come back in and drive that constraint. So I'm going to right click on the angle constraint that I just created right here and choose drive. And then right now it has my start angle at 45 degrees. If I want this to go in one complete circle, I'm going to add 360 degrees to that. So instead of 55, I'm going to say that this is going to be 405 degrees. Again, 360 plus 45 is 405. And then if I come down here and I click on the play forward, you'll see what happens is it rotates that blue arm in one full circle, and it gives me a demonstration of how this object would work, which is exactly what I want for my demonstration in the video that I want to produce. So the next step then is to actually just make a recording of this, and you'll see right here there's a tool that allows me to record it, and this box needs to be checked because once I start recording, it's going to make this box disappear, and it's just going to record, the area right here showing it. I don't want this in that recording, so make sure that that box is checked. A couple other things you can do if you click on the flyout here is I can change the increment. Right now it's basically going to make one frame of this every 1 degree. You could change that to 2 degrees, or you could say how many total number of frames I want it to create. But I think this is pretty good. One degree, it makes a nice smooth video. The other thing I can do is I can say how many times do I want to repeat. Right now it's going to repeat 1 full circle, but if I wanted it to go twice, I could simply change this number here to 2, and that's what I want. And then right here my AVI rate is 10, and if you click this out, you can say, you know, how big do I want it to be and that kind of stuff. That's a little advanced. We're not going to mess with that. I'm just going to leave these settings the way they are. And now I'm ready to record. So if I click on record right here, it's going to bring up this dialog box and say, okay, where do I want to save this? And I'm going to save it just on my desktop to make it easy. I'll call it Trammel. It's going to create a WMV file. If you drop this down, you see that you can save it as a WMV or an AVI or whatever it happens to be. I'm going to change it to AVI just to have it as a different type of file. And then I'll say OK or save. And then once I have it saved, because I chose AVI, it's going to ask me what frame, you know, what compressor I want. And there, again, there are some different choices here. I'm going to leave it as full frames uncompressed. I'm not too worried about the size of this file right now. I'm just going to leave it on my desktop. So I'll choose OK there. And now in order to actually get it to record, I'm going to hit the forward button right here. So I'll click forward, and you'll see that it's going to go through, and it goes through rather slowly. It's basically going every 1 degree. It's taking a picture and recording that to this file as an AVI file. And you know, it can take a little bit of time based on how complex your model is. This is not a super complex model, but you can see that it's got to think about it a little bit, because not only is it taking pictures, but it's writing that file. Once it's done, this comes back up and I can choose OK. And so now it's actually done. It's completed my AVI file. So if I come in here and I'll minimize this, and I'll go to my desktop and I'll find that file, which is this one right here. Now if I double click this file, it's going to open that using whatever player I want to use, and it's going to show me that movie. Now once you have this movie in place, you can of course, you know, upload it to the internet or whatever it happens to be. This is a little slow, so perhaps I could change, you know, some of the settings in there and make it a little bit faster. For those of you who are a little bit more tech savvy, you could go in there and probably modify it. But this is a great place to start because it shows exactly how motion would happen in your part. So pretty simple process. And again, you can drive most constraints. So experiment with it, see what works for you. And if you have any questions, comment below and I'll give you a hand. Thanks for watching.